Hello, welcome to this stream on Bitwarden Secrets Manager in use with Ansible. Time to get started. The agenda for today is an overview of Bitwarden, a very quick overview of Secrets Manager, and a quick look at what we're going to be doing in setting up Secrets Manager with Ansible. After that, we'll give a demonstration, and there will be time for questions and answers at the end. To introduce myself, my name is Adam Bramley. I am one of the integration engineering team here at Bitwarden. I work in the EU time zone. I'm based out of Turin in northern Italy. Without further ado, let's get started. So Bitwarden, as I'm sure you know if you're attending this stream, is an open source password manager and secrets manager solution. Some of the highlights of Bitwarden is that it is secured with zero knowledge end-to-end encryption all the way through the product. It's easy to use. We have really great design teams building easy to use clients for your end users to use. We are completely transparent. Our source code is available on GitHub, and in addition to public scrutiny, we pay for annual independent security audits. We offer flexible deployment options. We offer two software as a service solution servers. We offer .com and .eu. And we also let you self-host your own server, whether that be on a Linux virtual machine, Kubernetes, or a Windows virtual machine if you need to. The passwords and secrets that you store in Bitwarden are synchronized between the servers and the clients automatically, and we offer detailed and granular sharing facilities by use of collections and organizations. We're a customer and community-centric organization. We like putting on events like we're doing right now, giving best practice use cases. And again, we are available wherever you are by way of our worldwide team and our flexible deployment options. Today, I think, is the first demonstration that we're going to be having, or deep dive into Bitwarden Secrets Manager. So what is it, and how is it different from a password manager? It's aimed at developers and DevOps teams, and also, by the way, everyone else who has needs to manage secrets. And it allows you to centrally store, manage, and deploy infrastructure and code-based secrets at scale. We support full programmatic and secure machine-to-machine authentication. And just as with the password manager solution, everything is end-to-end encrypted. And we also offer unlimited secret storage. Why would you want to use a secrets manager product? Well, we enhance security. We're going to show you how easy it is to avoid hard coding your secrets, or potentially worse, sharing them by insecure channels such as email, Slack. And we, of course, offer full enterprise level security coverage alongside the Bitwarden Password Manager product. Today, we're going to be looking at the Bitwarden Secrets Manager integration with Ansible. Bitwarden Secrets Manager can be used in a lot of places. We'll also use the CLI tool just for a little bit today to bootstrap a machine ready to use Ansible. But we have certain built-in integrations, and the one we'll be looking at today is Ansible. In order to use that, you'll need access to a machine with Ansible installed. I'm going to start off on my laptop, and we'll move to a dedicated Ansible host for the second part of the demonstration. We'll need access to a Bitwarden server with Secrets Manager. Again, that can be .com, .eu, or self-hosted. And if you want to take this to the production stage, you'll need access to target infrastructure. But actually, the first set of plays that I'm going to run will be on localhost, so you can get started and get testing on localhost as well. What we're going to do today is we're going to install the prerequisites. We're going to clone the repo from Bitwarden Labs. We'll give a brief introduction to Bitwarden Labs as part of this demonstration. We'll show you how to make the necessary configuration changes to the repo, as well as how to cut parts out of the repo if you don't want to use some of the tools that we've used in this showcase. And then we're going to run good old Ansible playbook sites.yaml, adding the correct inventory and any necessary environmental variables. This is what we're going to be building today. I'm the actor. I'm going to start off by running Ansible against some example playbooks on my local laptop. We're then going to bootstrap this server here, number 2, by accessing all the while secrets from Bitwarden Secrets Manager. And we're going to then showcase some deployment and some demonstration of integrations with APIs. So we're going to set DNS records with Cloudflare, and we're going to use those DNS records via the Cloudflare DNS plugin to obtain Let's Encrypt certificates. We're going to deploy via Terraform, a couple of virtual machines on DigitalOcean. Again, this could be any hosting provider or bare metal infrastructure if you prefer, but I'm just using DigitalOcean for this, this use case. And we're going to deploy 2 instances of Vikunja. The first is going to be for our QA environment, simulated of course, and second for our production environment. Again, I'm going to deploy Vikunja today, but this is representative of how you could deploy whatever infrastructure you wanted. Each instance of Vikunja will have access to a database and an SMTP server. And again, the secrets for all of these will be encrypted and shared securely by use of Bitwarden Secrets Manager. Let's get started. Just a couple more things before we do get started. I'd like to start off by showcasing where we're getting the code from today. This is Bitwarden Labs, which is available on GitHub. Just the same way as the Bitwarden source code itself. That would be just remove the .labs. Inside this repo, which I don't think we've highlighted before, we have an unofficial space for innovative and experimental tools related to the Bitwarden universe. We have some really useful stuff here. If you are running a Bitwarden environment into production, I'd recommend you come and check it out. In particular, the admin scripts repo has some great scripts that you might want to run against the Bitwarden password manager APIs and using the CLI tool. And we have other useful code as well. What we're going to be looking at today is this BWS Ansible examples repository. This is all available here. We have a top level README right here, and then we have 3 Ansible modules. I'm going to step through those one by one. It's worth noting that each of these modules is completely documented, and then what you'll need to do is click through to the individual READMEs for the particular modules. So if you want to look at the README for the demonstration playbook, just click through and you'll find it right here. We'll be showcasing how to use all of this today. I'd also like to give a little shout out to the app that we're going to demonstrate today. This is Vikunja. It's a really awesome self-hosted CalDAV and Kanban and task manager tool. Just a little bit of a shout out to Conrad, who helped me develop this project and gave me enthusiastic go ahead. Finally, let's have a quick look at Bitwarden Secrets Manager itself. It's accessible through the waffle menu, and also down here on the side menu we have access to Secrets Manager. Bitwarden Secrets Manager is divided into projects. You can see that we've got different stores of secrets. So one of the ones we'll be looking at today is Demo Project. Inside Demo Project, we have a selection of secrets. We can give access to this secret to various people that can be tied in from your Bitwarden organization, and also machine accounts. If we look at these machine accounts, we can see that we can give access to different projects, but what we're interested in today is access tokens. I've set up a access token already in one of the projects. We're going to bootstrap that onto the remote machine that we're going to use later, and I'm actually going to expose that access token and then revoke and replace it and rotate it. That will hopefully give people a good idea of how we can manage and separate our secrets. Should check that my machine is up and running, and I think we're good to get started. So starting off, I'm going to take a look at the demonstration playbook here on the left. And for those of you who haven't used Ansible before, I'll just quickly break down how this works. We're going to start off with a site.yaml that targets the hosts that we want to do. It gathers some vars for the playbook, and also we set a selection of roles. In this initial playbook, we're only going to run one role, but as we move through the examples, this will get more and more complicated. You can see that the first playbook that we have, or the only playbook that we have in this particular module, is this demonstration playbook, and we'll just start running some of these now and take a look at how they work. So again, for those of you not used to Ansible, we're actually already inside a virtual environment. We'll show you how to set that up in the second part of the demonstration, where we have access to Ansible and the Ansible playbook verb. We're going to run that against site.yaml, which is the main site, which is going to filter down through here and start running the demo playbook. And we're going to run this against the inventory here that we have specified. In this particular inventory, it says the machines, the targets that we're going to run these on. We're actually only going to run it this time against localhost. As we proceed through the demo, we'll again look at how we can split this up into different environments to again enforce segregation of your secrets. Let's start off with this very simple syntax example. Example number one, we're just going to look up a secret from BWS and display it. So we're just going to use the debug module to print a message to the console, display the result of this secret here. If I just go back to my vault, if I can find which window I put that in, I can just show you exactly, oops, save that to pocket. We can just show you exactly what we are looking for here. We go into this demo project, we can see that each secret has a unique ID, and that is what we're going to be obtaining right now. We're going to have a look at the secret. It will spoil the surprise a little bit, but the message that's going to be printed is "Hello, Brilliance viewers." Let's run that play now. And we can see indeed that the message is "Hello, Brilliant viewers." You can see straight away that rather than hard coding our really important secret, Brilliance viewers, we're just going to leave that in place as a lookup to that secret. Let's move on to something slightly more complicated, and we're going to start looking at ways that we maybe would like to give you a little bit of a head start when using Bitwarden Secrets Manager with Ansible. Sometimes when learning like a new tool or a modification to a new tool, some of the syntax can be quite tricky. I'm not professing to be the best at this, but I think this will definitely get people up and running quite quickly. One of the great features about Ansible is that you can modify pretty much everything with Ginger 2 formatting. Here's this second play is an example of that. So we are using Ginger 2 formatting after the pipe to pass a default value. We're using this default value here to present an if logic flow. So if a value is available for a given secret in BWS, then we're going to use that value that we obtain. Otherwise, we're going to use a default value. Here we've hard-coded this value directly into the code, but we could also retrieve this from a number of other settings, for example, the host vars, as we will look at in a little bit, or even a var passed directly from the command line. Let's have a little look at the first example of this here. You can see that this time, this run through, we did manage to obtain that secret, and therefore that was displayed. We take that the other way around and run that second time, we can see that no secret was obtained this time. We didn't get a valid item, so therefore we presented the default null. Again, that's just a little tip. You will need to present the default, otherwise Ansible won't be very happy. And with null selected, we default to the default and we present a hard-coded value there. Something that is going to be quite useful is that we're going to use the set fact. So at this stage, we're obtaining that value, we're setting it to a variable which we're calling final secret. And again, here's an example of Ginger 2 templating, putting a little bit of logic in there. And then at the end, once that fact is available, we can display it as part of this message, again using the debug play. Quite a simple and maybe academic example, but I'm sure you can start to imagine how you could use this kind of logic flow to manage your own secrets. Let's look at the third example that we have here. Something that we're often going to want to do is to inject into a secret-free, a container or a virtual machine that has no secrets, inject secrets. And here's how we can use the Ansible built-in copy and the Ansible built-in line-in files modules to, again, just inject those secrets via the result of a lookup. If we have a look, we provide in our files this file, which is example.txt, just a blank text file. It will be created on my desktop, which is blank. And then at runtime, we will, after we've created that, we will inject it with the result of the secret. And there we go. One thing that we're going to want to do quite quickly is not inject just a single secret, but inject multiple secrets. And while we could just chain multiple line-in files or block-in files together, the Ansible manage block is a really useful feature. One thing that can be useful to make the handling of these a little bit more elegant is to build a dictionary in the play. So again, we're using the set fact module to build not just a single fact, but a dictionary of facts. We're combining a little bit of logic. We're running a Bitwarden Secrets lookup on a loop's worth of item.value. The values we are obtaining this time, we could put them directly in the text here, but it can actually be quite nice to manage these in an external file. So in here, we've got the demo vars. And this here is where we are storing the references to the secret IDs. Another part of this that's quite nice is that we're obviously storing references to secrets or demonstration secrets here in this vars file, and we can also store non-secret values. You don't have to store absolutely everything that changes that you want to inject inside your secrets manager, and here's an example of how we can achieve that. So once that dictionary is created, it will have two values available, first secret and second secret, and we'll then inject a Ginger2 template. Let's have a look at that. With first secret and second secret, you can also see that we're injecting a third item, which is foo. And foo, again, is not going to be the result of a secret lookup, but it's just going to be a result of following this tree here. So example Ansible vars, example var name, and there it is. Sorry, there it is. Example Ansible vars, Ansible var name. It's just a plain text. Wow. Let's have a look at that. Perfect. And we have another text file, this time with three secrets, secrets 1, 2, and the non-secret variable. Let's move on to our final standalone example. This one's quite interesting. Again, should be quite familiar by now. We're setting a fact in Ansible. We're setting the variable example var, which is going to be the result of a lookup, the same lookup that we've been using previously. Here we're going to check it. We're going to get it to output to the CLI. And then we're again going to use copy a blank example file. So it is this one right here to the desktop. This time we're going to inject in a slightly different way. We're going to use the Ansible built-in shell module. This is kind of interesting because this creates a subshell. And this will export example.var. Normally, if I was to export a var to my shell, that would then be available in that environment, in that namespace. This isn't, and I'll show you that in a second. We're then going to take that, that example var, we're going to echo it to this shell here, and we're going to dump that straight into that text file. But what will be interesting perhaps this time will be what happens afterwards. So again, there's the echoing of the secret, and we've got another file on our desktop. Let's have a look at that. There it is, hello Brilliance viewers. But what's potentially a little bit more interesting this time is normally, like I said, if you export a variable to your shell, then you'd expect that to be available. But actually that's not the case here. Again, to repeat, that is because that export command ran in this shell here that was running in the play, and once that play is finished, that is no longer available. So that's potentially a way that you might want to create very ephemeral secrets. I'd be really interested to see what people come up with, and I'd love to hear some feedback as to ways that you are using Ansible Secrets Manager. Okay, or Ansible and Secrets Manager. Let's move away now from our demonstration playbook. Let's move on to a second playbook, which is transfer credentials, and let's have a look at this. So again, the structure is quite similar, site.yaml. This time in the inventory, we're actually connecting to a Ansible host, and we've got some host files. So I've actually set up the connection to this in advance. I'm going to connect this to a machine on it's Proxmox, it's on my local network. we're going to provide the user and a valid SSH key. We've also got a few vars that we're going to pass through again. These are references to Secrets Manager, so we're going to look these up at runtime. We've also provided a debug mode, so if you want to look at where some of these are coming from, you could either change that to true, or you could use the E flag and do debug mode equals true, and that would present some of these values in plain text on the console as you run through the plays. Let's have a look at these plays this time. We have 2 plays this time from site.yaml, or 2 playbooks containing multiple plays. The first one we're going to do is install the BWS CLI tool. So let's have a look at that. Okay, this is basically bootstrapping this virtual machine that I have. We can connect to that. And this is bootstrapping this machine ready for BWS. So if I run, I'm not actually going to put it in the path, but improve at the moment that right now that doesn't exist. We're going to install some tools that we need in order for this machine to not only bootstrap and get access to secrets via BWS, but then to go on and run the full demonstration playbook that we have later. So we're going to install Git and Python. We're going to create that directory. We're going to download the BWS binary, and we are going to unzip that. We're then going to set the machine token as a var. So slightly differently to the one that we've just demonstrated, where we made it very ephemeral, we're going to leave this in place. This time we're going to add a line-in file to etc environment, and we're going to set that variable BW access token equals the access token. Again, you can check it if you want using the debug mode. We'll then have a look at the transfer of the credentials. We're going to want to transfer in order to go back to our diagram, where at the moment we are configuring this machine number 2 down here, and in a minute machine number 2 is going to want to configure to, yes, services 3, 4 and 5, but it's also going to want to have access to DigitalOcean and the SSH keys that will be present on Vikunja. So we're going to need to get those SSH keys across, and of course a great way to do that is to store them in Secrets Manager. So there's a couple of plays here that, again, we could show this if we want to run it in debug mode, but we're going to ensure that /SSH exists for this user and obtain the SSH key, and then just use built-in copy to write that to an SSH key called Terraform, and we'll actually put that in the Ansible configuration later. Also obtaining the public key. We don't actually need to do that here, but we're going to do it anyway. Let's run this playbook. That will be a slightly different inventory file, and we're going to provide the K option. The K is the become password, so the password for the particular user on this machine. Again, looking at the group vars, we can see that the Ansible user is Adam. So we've got the password, the sudo password for Adam being passed through here. One thing that I did there was I passed that in through the CLI. When we move a little bit further, I'll show you how you can again pass that in through a subshell. If I now just exit out of this and recreate the connection to redo the source, we should now be able to run opt BWS and then list secrets, secret list. And the reason that we can do that is because that BWS access token has been passed through. Just realized that I wasn't intending to hand out that Terraform key, so I will have to rotate that afterwards, but never mind. What I was intending to expose was this BWS access token. As you can see, we've bootstrap this machine with the access token, which gives access to a certain amount of credentials, most of them demonstration, but some of them not. And I want to show you now how we can rotate that access token. So let's head back over to the Bitwarden Vault. And let's move across to the machine account. The machine account that we're using here is the Ansible demo host. And you can see that this has an access token that I have just exposed. Let's revoke that. We'll enter the main master password to do so. That access token is no longer valid. In order to use this demonstration, we're going to need a new access token. Ubuntu demo access token. Again, we can set different expiry levels on that if we want to. I've just shown that one as well. I'm supposed to do that one off screen, but in fact, let's do it properly. Revoke that one. 1 second. I'm just going to do this off screen, but what I'm going to do is set a new access token and place that back in my project. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to this product, and we've got a tool called Ubuntu Credentials here. There are the SSH keys for the Terraform virtual machines. And here's the access token. The value of this access token at the moment is the old access token. And what I'm going to do is just paste the new one in over the top of that. And at that stage, we'll have rotated the credentials. I'm going to do that off screen this time. There we go. That secret has now been edited. And now if I come back here and run that play once more, that is again going to retrieve the updated access token, because that has not changed, and it's going to send that across to the machine. So I'll just exit out of this, wait for that to complete, log back in, and when I do BWS secret list, and let's mask it this time, JQ, I think it's map dot del. 1 second, just let me get the actual command. Never remember my JQ syntax. Del.value. Oops. Let's just copy that actually. There you go, opt BWS, because I didn't put it in the path. There we go. And here's the secrets. We can show that again, that we're back on track. We've managed to restore access to this project worth of secrets with a rotated access key. Okay, now we've given this this machine access to demo credentials. It's time to actually give it access to some real credentials. So we've got two additional projects here. One for my BWS Ansible Vikunja production environment, and one for my BWS Ansible Vikunja quality assurance environment. And what we're going to do is we're going to give access to this machine to both of these. So it's not the data host, that's another machine, it's this demo host. To add that there, and can read permissions will be just fine. Save that. And we'll do the same again. I think that was production that I just did. Yeah, so I'll do that again for can read permissions there. Perfect. So now when I do that command there, we're going to have a lot more. There we go. We've got Cloudflare API zones, SMTP hosts, Vikunja DB, there's Terraform, or Terraform public it had already, but there's the DigitalOcean API key, etc. It's got access to all the secrets that it needs. Okay. That's how to bootstrap a machine ready for running Ansible. Let's go ahead now and actually have a look at running these Ansible playbooks. Let's start by doing that. We're going to actually need a couple of virtual machines in order to get this going. Just close all of this down. And let's have a quick look at this final module that we've offered. And you can see it's getting a little bit more complicated. A couple of things to note here. That's where I've put my virtual environment. I placed it inside the actual module. It would also be a great choice to place it in the roots of this whole, like all the Ansible that you want to use. And I've also provided some Terraform here if you're interested, just to quickly throw up a couple of virtual machines, just very basic virtual machines on DigitalOcean. You can, of course, run these plays on any virtual machines that you want, or anything that you want. They should work fine. It's quite standard, but these ones will certainly work. Again, looking at the site.yaml, just get all those commented out. We're going to be running several different roles this time. Actually, we don't need the debug. If you aren't a user of Cloudflare and Certbot and Nginx, and you just want to run some code and you just want to see this going via HTTP and not HTTPS, just comment out those roles there. That will just install Docker and Vikunja, and at that stage you should be fine to just run based on the IP and the port, just if you want to see the code running. But we're going to run the full thing, get HTTPS up and going. Okay, what do I need to do now? Yeah, I need to run the Terraform. So let's go out of here, and where are we? Certbot. And yeah, into Terraform. Let's check if I've still got this in place. Yes, I do. I'm going to just quickly destroy these, because I should have destroyed these before the thing. Again, we showed earlier an example of we use the K flag in Ansible. I'll just get that going, because it'll take a while. We use the K flag in Ansible to pass a sudo password for that user, and I said you can do that also via an API call. Here we're using this just this lookup in the background, so grabbing that secret again. My host machine has access, and just extracting the value from that lookup using again JQ. Perfect. That's destroyed. Let's now apply those. So let's have some fresh virtual machines. And yes, okay. So while they're building in the background, let's go back to my machine here. Again, let's do this from fresh. There we go. And let's do this. Let's show running this repository on a fresh host. So the first thing that I'm going to do is clone the repo. And now we're going to move into the repo. Ansible, as I've said, is not currently available on this machine, so we're actually going to install that. Again, we had a little bit of discussion about virtual environments earlier. Python seems to be very much going towards running everything in a virtual environment rather than installing Ansible, for example, globally. So we're going to pay attention to that now. So we will create a new virtual environment to start with. Just check that that's there. It is. And then we'll move into that virtual environment. Okay. And now we're into this virtual environment. We can work from this. We can start to install the prerequisite packages. So the first ones that we're going to need via pip are Ansible. And we're also going to install the Bitwarden SDK. Let's get that command right. And this shouldn't take too long, just installing these prerequisite packages. One thing to note is that, again, we're not installing these globally. We are installing these only in these virtual environments. So that allows you for different version control. For example, if you have some Ansible playbooks that particularly need a particular version of Ansible, that would be absolutely fine, managing each of those in a different virtual environment. A lot easier to do than virtual machines. And hopefully my installation will finish in just a minute. There we go. So now we should have access to Ansible. We can do which Ansible, and again, that's not installed globally, but that is installed specifically, this version, in my virtual environment. We're going to now use Ansible Galaxy to install a couple of collections. I'm going to install the community Docker collection. that is used to manage Docker, which we're going to be using to run the application on the virtual machines. That is specific to this particular project, but it's really useful one, so you might want to use it. We're obviously going to install Bitwarden Secrets, which is going to allow the Secrets Manager to work. Looks like I'd already installed those, but that would be the commands that you'd need. Okay, with this in mind, we are ready to go. We can again do BWS secrets list, and then JQ, hopefully get my typing right. Again, I didn't actually install it to the path. So we'll run it manually, and there we go. So now we've got access to all the tools that we need and all the secrets that we're going to need as well. Okay, let's have a look at this particular file, this particular module. Again, lots of different places that we can configure. What we're going to do is I'm going to start it off running, and then I'll start stepping through it bit by bit in a minute. So the first thing that I'm going to do is configure the inventory. And in here we've got host vars and group vars. Let's look at the host vars first. And we're going to nano these one at a time. So the production is going to be the server IP, and we've just created these server IPs so we can get these from Terraform. So you can see that the Terraform that I've created has two, it's going to deploy two servers, 0 and 1. And they're going to have tags. Quite a simple way of managing it, but a QA tag and a production tag. If you are already a user of Ansible, you're probably aware that you can get inventory dynamically, including from DigitalOcean. You could also start getting these tags dynamically, including from DigitalOcean. You can start to see how your automation might continue from there. Just for the sake of simplicity in this example, this showcase, I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to just set these up manually. So what is this? This is production, and this server IP for production is that right there. And we also provisioned that SSH file. This was the one that we copied over using the provision, the SSH key. We also copied this over in the provision Ansible playbook that we played earlier. So I'll save that there. That IP doesn't look right. Is it right? It is right. It's quite a good one. I might keep that. Perfect. And we'll do the same again for QA. So QA is server instance 0, and that is the IP. And again, I should have saved that SSH path, but that will be at home adam.ssh. And that is the SSH key that was provisioned on these machines via Terraform. We now need to look in the group vars and again do a little bit of customization. Again, this is going to be a good example of how we can really separate credentials. That's a bit ugly, get rid of that. So I'm going to, what is this? This is the production. So I'm going to use my production domain, which is going to be majestic.horse. We're going to put it on the subdomain Vikunja. But you can see here how this Cloudflare API token, if we just take a note that that particular credential, which is stored in Bitwarden Secrets Manager, that starts with D487. When we save this and go across to QA, that is a different credential. So we've got different Cloudflare API tokens for my two domains because we want to keep good separation between our environments. My testing domain is just going to be atjb.link. Okay, with that in mind, go back to the roots. I think we'll be good to go. So let's start off by doing a connectivity test, check that I've configured those right. Ansible ping, and we'll test first one then the other. So QA, and then we need to define the inventory, which will be inventory Vikunja. So this will be the first time that we've connected to this machine, so it's going to ask me to verify. A bit slow. Hope this works. Everything's gone well so far. There we go, just a bit slow. So yeah, we've made a connection to DigitalOcean QA, and we'll do the same again to my production server. And it's detected that it's a new machine. It's not on my known hosts. We could bootstrap it with the known hosts if we knew that. With the machine ID, pop that into the known hosts if we knew that. Perfect. With those in mind, we should be good to go. So at that stage, we should be able to run the Ansible playbook. It's going to be sites.yaml. I'm going to need the inventory, which will be the same inventory as before. And that should work for this one. I'll show you why in a second. Yeah, perfect. Just let that start going. It's very slow, so I'll start the second one. We're actually going to run this in two environments, so we'll start a second shell. And BWS Ansible examples. We will source that venv bin activate. We now have access to Ansible again, and we can run Ansible playbook, site.yaml. Nope, see, I'm in the wrong directory. cd server. So Ansible playbook, site.yaml. Again, we'll select our inventory, which will be inventory Vikunja. And we will this time add an environmental variable, and this will be, I think it's deployment env equals QA. And let's just see if that works. Ansible supports about 14 levels of variable precedence. So what I've actually done in this back one is I've defined this production environment globally. But even though that's still defined for this second instance, we can actually overwrite that. So I'll just check that I've got that right. And then once we've got this one up and running in the background, it's running really slowly, but it is running. There we go. Yeah, perfect. We'll go and have a look at what's actually going on here. Okay, so while those two are running in the background, let's have a little look in here. We can see that in particular, we don't go in there. In the vars, we have set the deployment environment. That's why we didn't need to specify this for the first window that we run it in. We then overrode that with deployment environment equals QA in the second window. That's running again against these different group vars in production. So that's what that's bringing there, production and QA. We can now start to have a little bit of a look about how we're handling some of the secrets. The first place that uses some secrets is tasks in certbot. So just to skim through this quite quickly, we're going to install the certbot plugin and certbot and get that started. We're going to use Snap to do that. And there's the Cloudflare DNS plugin. We are going to set the domain and the subdomain that we're interested in. Again, those are non-secret vars. If we go through production, we can see that those vars there are deployment. So deployment env. So in this case, it's production. That could also be QA. And then DNS, and then there's the domain and subdomain. So this is actually different because this is the version that I have on this machine. I'm not actually running off this machine, so that actually was like that on the machine that I showed you running it on. And then we're going to, again, like we've done quite previously, we're going to need a couple of actual secrets, not just vars. So we're going to set those in a loop, create a dictionary, and then we're going to inject the parts of this dictionary into this getcerts.sh. So again, grabbing that Cloudflare API key, trimming it, again, modifying it using a Ginger 2 template there, or Ginger 2 filter, and again, making sure that goes into getcerts.sh. So you can have a look at getcerts.sh. It's again, just the base of a so if we were to actually go and have a look at this on the machine now, we'd see a couple more lines have been injected. And not only have a couple more lines of plain text being injected, but also the secrets. Moving on, we can have a look at how we're handling Cloudflare to actually create the DNS records. I've got this demo field right here, which shows you, again, what this is all about. If we were performing bad secrets management practice, maybe we'd be hard coding this API token. This is a dummy credential. There's no worries about exposing that. But what we've done instead is that we've replaced that API token with, again, a lookup to my deployment environment. Again, it could be QA, it could be production, and we're grabbing the API token there. And there it is, just being injected. Again, being set, using the set facts module and being injected. We've also got a little bit of tidy up here. So if you run it with the teardown mode, either global or set that in the global vars, or set that on the command line, then it will actually delete the record for you. So you can obviously destroy the machines with Terraform, or just destroying the machines, but the Cloudflare API, the Cloudflare DNS record will be left in place. You can pull that off as well. Let's have a final look at Vikunja. So those secrets are interfacing with kind of external services, whereas Vikunja, it's actually leaving some secrets on the machine itself. Vikunja is configured via a couple of ways. You can configure it via environmental variables that are either available on the server or passed directly into the Docker Compose file. I've not done that here. These Docker Compose files are very kind of neat, I guess. There's no secrets exposed in these. And again, in the secrets, in the config.yaml, this is where you could put secrets, but again, you can see that for the database and for the mailer, where we're actually going to inject these secrets, there's only non-secret values there. If we take a look at what we're doing, we are grabbing the database password, and again, just a one-off fact, we're just using line in file to inject that after database, so that will go in just there. And then for the SMTP host, username, password, and from address, we're injecting them in a block. So we are using the block in file to inject that block after mailer, and that will go in with this mark either side of it, Bitwarden Secrets Manager managed block. So hopefully people will know that if they get tempted to edit this manually. Okay, and then we head on down, and again, we do the same in the Docker Compose. Okay, hopefully we've got a couple of instances here that are completed. But yes, thank you for watching this overview of the Bitwarden Secrets Manager with Ansible integration. Hope that these examples will save some time working out syntax for those of you interested in using this in your own projects, and perhaps providing some ideas as to ways that Ansible and Secrets Manager can join up to simplify and secure management of your infrastructure. I'm sure that there are plenty of people out there who are doing far more interesting things with Ansible than I am, and if you've got any cool tricks or configurations and you're willing to share, then we would love to hear about them. Please get in touch via any of the usual ways. Fantastic. And there you go. There's our first server up at vikunja.majestic.horse. And this was indeed a demo Vikunja server that was produced with the help of Bitwarden Secrets Manager. There'll be another one up very shortly, I think, but I think we can leave it there for the moment. Thanks very much for your attention, and yeah, happy secrets management.